Hi everyone, thanks for watching this video. My name is Maral. I'm a counsellor and I'm a therapist, and I do some channeling sometimes as well. And today I do have my guides here with me. I've got my Andromedan star family who are going to help me with this session. And today we are going to be talking about spiritual advisors, spiritual gurus, however you want to say it. And I want to say slash narcissists because the both is quite related. I think it's an important topic to discuss, to explore. Now, I'm in the videos that I do, the content that I provide, I generally keep things quite light and heart-based and positive because this is the way things are going, and I think it's important for the way this world is evolving and developing that we continue on that path. However, there is something in this topic, and maybe other people have noticed that, there are people out there that bring that kind of narcissistic, let's say, kind of energy in. I'm not talking about actual diagnosis of narcissism. I'm talking about certain traits that these kind of people might bring in, and just to be aware of that, just for your own self, if you are wanting to work with someone like that in this field, let's say. Okay. So let's start this off. As I said, I've got my Andromedan star family here who are going to help me do this. Now, before we start, I just want to, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video is, there are people out there who genuinely are seeking help, guidance, and therapy does a wonderful thing in terms of it helps people bring the unconscious to the conscious to be able to work on what you need to work through in your life, right? And I've been doing this for many years, over a decade, and in my own life, my personal life is almost kind of has kind of mirrored and helped my professional life as well. So I have gone through a lot of my own stuff, and that has helped me develop what I need to develop as a counselor and therapist. If I hadn't gone through or my own awakening, all these transitions in my life, or the grief, the sorrow, the emotions, the energetic pushes and pulls, and the reality of life, and work through what I need to work through, and alchemize what I need to work and alchemize what I need to have done, and still doing, right? Because we're continuously doing the work, because we are only human. This is what we do, and this is why we're here, really. A part of why we're here, to develop that consciousness in what we're going through. Now, if I hadn't done all that work, there is no way I'd be sitting here doing this, and there's no way I would be working as a counselor. So it's really important when you're doing this kind of work to be able to know how to hold yourself, how to be there for yourself, and to work on what you need to work through internally before you can provide that for anyone, right? So this is why it's important to kind of consider that. And one of the things that I have kind of picked up on when it comes to healing modalities and the people behind that, who does the healing. It could be any kind of healing, by the way, anything. I feel has got a lot to do with the energy of that person, rather than maybe even the actual technique used, right? Because unless the energy is of a certain vibration from what that person brings, then how can healing actually be done, right? And of course, in that process, you have to be open to it as well. It works both ways. And actually, therapy, healing, anything similar to that in that field, it works both ways. It's an exchange that must happen. Both of you have to be open. Both of your hearts, I'm being told, has to be open. This is how healing actually works. It's always through the heart. And in fact, this is how channeling works. So when I channel, like I'm doing now, it's all about the only way is through an open heart. Unless my heart is open, I cannot receive information, right? And anyone that does channeling knows that. And the same goes with healing. Pretty much, it really requires heart-based, high consciousness energy, high vibration energy to be able to help people in their healing process. And actually, what I'm being told is, even though you are the person that's guiding maybe the session, the person that's actually coming in is actually the one that's allowing themselves to be healed. Unless you allow yourself to be healed, you can't do this. Now, I'm kind of digressing here a little bit. Now, I want to bring in, so as I said, I've got my Andromeda star family here, and they're going to help me talk about this a bit more. So we've talked about how it's important to be of a certain way to be able to do any kind of therapy. So now talking about narcissistic traits in spiritual advisors. I'm being told there are many out there, more than maybe we even realize. Okay, so there is a discernment that we need to learn here. Okay, and all of it is about how we feel around someone, and it's about trusting our feelings within ourselves to be able to use our discernment and to know whether this person is right for us or not. Okay, so yes, spiritual advisors, gurus, ones who have not done the work, right? And there are many out there who have not done the work, might be seen as almost narcissistic or have narcissistic traits, although we don't want to put anyone in a particular category, right? However, that is that because they have not done the work, and I'm being told they have consciously decided not to do the work, right? However, what they are very good at is charming. Charm is using their charm to charm people, to captivate people. They know the words to use. They know the language to use. They know how to bring people in what they say. And because as many narcissists, a lot of narcissists are so connected to truth, to actual universal laws, universal truths, that in the way they speak and what they say, they bring people in through that way as well, because truth is truth and people can't deny truth, right? So that's another way they bring people in. So with these, let's say, spiritual advisors, spiritual gurus that are more narcissistic, and they know the game to play. They know the charm and they need to put out there. They know what to say. They know what truth is, and they are, in a way, they are bypassing everything they need to work through themselves. And in this bypassing, they are calculating, they're realizing how they must do it in order to bring people in order to sell something. Because ultimately, that's what they're doing. They're wanting to sell something for their own ego, for their own power that they believe they have. However, it's not true power, of course. And I'm being told, a lot of people in time who, and maybe, it could be cults or however you want to say it, a lot of people that have decided to work with these kind of, spiritual guru advisors that are not real, eventually do realize something does click to them, that something that does come in that makes them realize that this doesn't feel right. When the feeling doesn't feel right, when something doesn't feel right, they go with it. And a lot of people do come out of it in the end. There are still some people that don't, and especially in social media, you have to be so careful. Yeah, I'm being told, so careful, because you don't know who's behind, what person, is behind this thing that they're saying, right? So again, trust your feelings, trust how you feel around this person. It's not about what that person says. It's not about how they're captivating you and the language they're using. It's not about how they look. It's about how you feel. So some narcissists, you might realize, sometimes they flip. Sometimes they get triggered by something and they flip and they might suddenly snap, right? Well, trust that. Okay, would a spiritual loving advisor snap? Is that even possible? Is that a thing? Is that someone that you want to trust? So again, go with your discernment, go with your trust, and go with how you feel. That's the most important thing. But spiritual advisors have been on the rise for a while, and more so there have been, yes. And they are, I'm being told it's kind of coming to an end, because it has to at some point. Well, it has to, because as the vibration of the earth is rising, so does everyone else has to do the same, because we work harmoniously with Mother Nature, right? So we are rising with Mother Nature, which means these type of narcissistic type of people, let's say traits in people, will be deleted more and more. So they will eventually, I'm being told, they will eventually have a choice to either cut off, and that means cut off from this world, and that might mean, their own choice that they make to not be here, or they consciously decide to make a change and change themselves. And it's very possible. It's very possible, I'm being told. Because I know I have heard this before when people have said that, I've heard some people say, there is no way a narcissist can change their ways, but they're saying, no, that's not true. You absolutely can, and anyone can. Now, with a narcissist, it might be particularly difficult, but you absolutely can. But a lot of it with narcissistic, and we're not saying exactly diagnosed narcissists, but narcissistic traits, a lot of it come down to whether they are willing to open their heart and see themselves for maybe what they've done, what they feel guilty for. Because again, what a narcissist does, they bypass how they truly feel in order to sell something, in order to survive. And again, it's for their ego, because this is what the ego is here, to survive, right? So they're just in constant survival. A narcissist type, let's say, has come from a deeply sensitive place themselves. They are sensitive people themselves, and they have learned a certain way. They've learned to be a certain way in order to cope with life, right? And therefore they have gone with this because they could see it's worked every time. Whenever they use their charm, certain things come in, they get what they want, and so they go with it because it's worked, it's helped them survive. But survival is no more. It's now coming to an end, and therefore they're going to have to make a choice at some point, and they will. Many have already made a choice, and there are many, I'm being told, that have decided that they don't want to be here. But there are also many that I'm being told are having some kind of conversation with the galactic race, with the Federation of the galactic race, and deciding on a better path for themselves because they do want to stay. So there are lots of things, I guess, going on behind the scenes, but it has been on a rise. It is still on a bit of a rise, but people are waking up, and very soon it's just not going to work. And if we stay within our heart, we stay with our feelings and how we feel, it shouldn't even be really an issue. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you for that. So I did feel like it was important. Like, I've had my own experience with narcissistic kind of type of people as well. And it is interesting. You kind of see the same kind of patterns being repeated. So in the world that we live, and and I just feel that more and more people are, we're going through certain things. We all are. And therefore we are seeking maybe advice, guidance a bit more. It's important to really use your discernment and to learn to trust yourself and feel into what is actually right for you and what doesn't feel right for you.